Please listen carefully.
Rondo is directed by Barnhardt, and it was screened at the 2018 Fantasia Film Festival. Rondo is what happens when a director thinks he's making a super edgy, super dark exploitation film and succeeds only in the fact that most exploitation films were terrible, and Rondo is terrible. I think a lot of film lovers and cinephiles over-romanticize exploitation cinema because A, Quentin Tarantino loves exploitation films, so now we all have to love cheap, low-budget movies. B, because a lot of very talented filmmakers came out of that low-budget exploitation scene, whether it be Francis Ford Coppola, who worked with Corman, or Joe Dante, or James Cameron, who all worked with Corman again, or even somebody like George Miller in Australia. And C, there's the fact that over the years, all of these sort of gems have surfaced and all of the trash has sort of been forgotten. The film is weirdly self-aware in that it's trying and failing miserably to be funny at times. It misses the mark that any comedy the film might actually possess comes from how absolutely horrible all of the technical aspects of the film are. From the editing, to the cinematography, to the lighting, to the sound, to the sound mixing. Even for a first-year film student, this would be absolutely unacceptable. And I don't like to shit on these films that have no budget and, full respect to anybody who tries and goes out and makes a movie with no money, because it's really hard. And it's really hard to make bad films. Almost just as hard as it is to make really good films. But when YouTube videos have better image quality and have better sound, it's just plain unacceptable for a movie like this to be screened at a major film festival. Unless it's actually part of the joke, which I highly doubt. And then there's this weird thing throughout the movie that it seems to think it's super edgy and dark when it's really not. It's actually really, really lame. And that's almost where the movie is saved, when it exists in that sort of interstitial space between it thinking it's something that it's not and us as the audience receiving something that's totally different, which is something that I think is key to a so bad it's good movie like Birdemic or The Room, but it just can't sustain that for long enough to be entertaining and to be anything other than just really boring, drab crap. And then there's the dubstep. So much dubstep. Why? It feels like a car commercial from 2011 that just goes on and on and on and on, and it never stops, and it may well be the worst soundtrack to a film I've ever heard in my life. I guess the only saving grace of the film would be the last scene, where the entirety of the cast is pulverized by a machine gun, and it's the best part just because they actually decided to use real blood squibs, and not a sort of After Effects plugin, which is probably where the entirety of the budget of the film went. Now, it's horribly directed, but at least there's a certain pleasure in seeing blood squibs explode in slow motion. The person that is wielding the machine gun and shooting everybody is the main actress of the film, and she's doing this while in her underwear, which makes sense if you consider the whole, exploitation angle of the film, but because the movie was so crap, I felt really bad for her to have to be half naked for a significant chunk of the film. And then I had this really awkward thought of how much of this film only exists because the director wanted to work with a half-naked lady for 2 weeks on a film shoot, and that just gave me some massive, massive creepster vibes and made me feel really, really dirty. So as always, thanks very much for watching the video. Hit the like button if you like the review, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and until next time, more Fantasia reviews forthcoming. See ya.